We walked into the venue I'd saved $3,900 for, and the banner over the cake said, "Happy 7th, Ava." I'm Mark, 34, a single dad and my family's designated fixer. My own mother shrugged like it was weather. "We thought you'd understand." My sister Jenna had turned my son's party into her daughter's, using the room I booked, the money I saved, and the silence I usually give. Max squeezed my hand and whispered, "It's okay. Maybe next year." That sentence broke something in me and built something else. I didn't shout. I didn't touch a cupcake. I walked out, canceled every charge, and decided the free ride ends today. They counted on me folding. They forgot I signed the contracts, and I know how to end them. Have you ever had family repackage your generosity as their entitlement? Tell me what you'd do below. Share the moment you drew the line. Would you have stayed and shared or walked like I did? I didn't start angry. I started helpful. In my family, that was the same thing as being invisible. I was the reliable oldest, the one who fixed the Wi-Fi, drove the carpools, and picked up the slack when everyone else couldn't. Mom said it like a compliment. "You're so dependable, Mark." What she meant was, "You'll never say no." When my little sister Jenna cried, Mom rushed in with tissues and kisses. When I cried, she frowned. "Don't make this about you." I learned early that quiet boys don't get scolded. They get used. At 10, Jenna got a brand new purple bike with glittery streamers. I got her old one, chain rusted, still covered in frog stickers. "It's perfectly good, Mommy," Mom said. "We're not wasteful." At 16, I bagged groceries so I could pay for my class trip to D.C. That same year, Jenna wanted to join a church retreat. Mom promised, "We'll find the money." She meant, "I'll find it." By 24, I was fluent in sacrifice. When Jenna's first apartment flooded, I showed up with towels. When Dad's phone broke, I added him to my plan because your credit score is better. When Mom's car died, I put it on my card until the tax refund comes. The refund always came late or never. Every thank you was a transaction. Mom would hug me, then tell Jenna, "See, your brother always handles it." I wasn't her son anymore. I was a solution. After my son Max was born, I thought maybe Mom would soften. But even then, I had to earn her affection with reliability. When I asked her to babysit so I could work overtime, she said, "I would, but Jenna needs me. Ava has dance." Then the dagger, "Your grandmother never needed help." I found a neighbor instead, dropped off cupcakes as thanks, and learned another rule. Help yourself quietly, and no one will ever help you back. Still, I kept showing up. Holidays, I cooked. Bills, I covered. Repairs, I paid. If something went wrong, everyone called me first. It was a system built on one assumption: Mark can handle it. Mom's favorite phrase was, "We're family, we help each other." But in practice, it meant, "You help us." Then came Max's 7th birthday. For months, I'd been saving, packing lunches, skipping takeout, to afford something special. A clean, bright venue, bounce house, pizza, balloons, $3,900 in total, a real memory for my kid. 3 weeks before the party, Mom called me at work. "How's my grandson?" she sang, sweetness hiding the hook. I told her about the booking, the deposit, the theme Max picked, dinosaurs on skateboards. She hummed thoughtfully. $3,900? That's a lot. Then came the line that always meant trouble. "Well, we know you'll make the right choice for the family." 2 days later, my phone buzzed. Group text, Mom, Jenna, and a Pinterest link titled Ava's Lucky 7. Pink balloons, pastel cupcakes, a rainbow arch. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Finally, I typed, "Looks cute. See you Sunday for Max's party." Jenna replied instantly, "Wouldn't miss it." I wanted to believe her. I really did. The week before the event, I stopped by the venue to pay the balance. Marissa, the manager, smiled. "You're going to have one happy kid." I grinned back. Maybe, for once, things would go right. That night, Jenna called. "Hey, quick question," she chirped. "What size is the party room you booked?" I frowned. "Why?" "Just curious. Ava's park permit got denied. Everything's booked. You know how it is." Her tone wasn't curious. It was fishing. 2 hours later, Mom texted me. "Families help each other." No context, just the guilt trip. I typed back, "Agreed." She replied with a thumbs up and 2 words. Trust me. Trust me. That phrase has stolen more money from me than any thief ever could. The week flew by in a blur of errands and optimism. I stuffed party bags with orange ribbons because Max said orange feels fast. He crossed days off his calendar, counting sleeps until Sunday. That morning, he twirled in his T-Rex shirt and asked, "Do you think the bounce house will be safe for old people?" I laughed. He meant Grandpa. We arrived early. I carried boxes of favors, candles, and a banner that said, "Max is 7. The manager waved me in. "Everything's ready, Mr. Harlow." I opened the door and froze. Hanging over the cake table in shining rose gold letters, "Happy 7th, Ava." Pastel plates, unicorn napkins, pink balloons. A stranger arranging cupcakes looked up and said, "Are you the uncle?" My stomach dropped. My mom appeared behind her, gift bag in hand. "There you are," she said like nothing was wrong. "We thought you'd understand." Understand what? That my son's birthday had been stolen? That his name had been replaced by someone else's? "Mom," I said, my voice scraping my throat, "what is this?" She smiled. Practiced, patient, cruel. "Jenna's space fell through. You already had this room. Family share." I felt Max's tiny hand tighten around mine. "It's okay, Dad," he whispered. "Maybe next year." That sentence shouldn't exist in a 7-year-old's vocabulary. In that moment, I saw every year stacked behind me. Every favor, every dollar, every swallowed protest. I saw myself fixing problems I didn't cause. Funding comfort I never felt. I saw my mother shrugging off fairness like it was optional. And suddenly I couldn't do it anymore. The air felt different. Heavy, but clean. I set down the banner. My voice came out steady. "Okay." Mom blinked, confused. "Okay?" I nodded once. "Okay." Then I turned, took my son's hand, and walked out. Behind me, I heard her hiss, "Don't be childish." But for the first time, I wasn't the child in the room. I was a man finally done being everyone's safety net. Outside, the hallway echoed with Max's sneakers, tapping like a heartbeat, counting the end of an old pattern. Walking out of that venue felt like cutting an invisible cord that had been around my neck for years. But when you stop being useful to people who rely on you, they don't clap, they panic. By the next morning, my phone looked like it was on fire. "Mom, you embarrassed us." "Jenna, you ruined Ava's special day." "Dad, you owe your sister an apology. Be the bigger man." Aunt Deb chimed in, "Mark, you always take things too far." I didn't respond. I just stared at Max across the table, licking blue frosting from his finger, happy in his own little world. For the first time in a long time, I didn't want to explain myself to anyone. Mom called 3 times before noon. I let it ring. Then a text came. "You hurt your sister's feelings. Ava cried." Ava cried? My son whispered, "Maybe next year." But that didn't make anyone cry. I realized something ugly. In my family, pain only counts if Jenna feels it. That afternoon, I opened my laptop. I wanted to see it for myself, every favor, every help, every loan that turned into silence. Over 5 years, I'd sent more than $17,000 to family emergencies, $700 for Mom's breaks, $250 for Dad's phone, $400 to Jenna's temporary rent, $900 for her new couch, and $200 for Mom's property tax issue. Every transaction had its own excuse. Together, they were a pattern. I stared at the spreadsheet and thought, I built their comfort on my exhaustion. That night, I ordered pizza with extra cheese and let Max pick the movie. He chose Jurassic Park. Halfway through, he said, "Dad, are we still having parties with Grandma?" I hesitated. "Maybe not for a while." He shrugged. "That's okay. I like our own parties better." 7 years old and already understanding boundaries better than half my family. 2 days later, Mom showed up at my door holding a plate of cookies. Her smile was stretched too tight. "Can we talk?" "Sure," I said, stepping aside. She sat down like a queen in exile. "You've hurt Jenna deeply. She was humiliated." I folded my arms. She used my son's birthday to host her kid's party. She humiliated herself. Mom's tone sharpened. "You used to be generous." "I used to be scared," I said flatly. "Don't say that," she snapped. "We're family." "Exactly," I said. "So stop treating me like your ATM." She stared at me, speechless. then gathered her purse and stood up. "You've changed." "Yeah," I said, "that's the point." After she left, the quiet in my apartment was heavy but peaceful. I poured the cookies into the trash. Max looked up from his homework and asked, "Are those Grandma's cookies?" "Yeah." He nodded. "They smell weird anyway." I laughed. "They do." The next day, Dad called. "Your mother's upset," he said, like it was my fault gravity worked. "I know. She means well. You just took it wrong." "Dad, she hijacked my kid's birthday." "You know how she gets." "I do," I said. "And you know how you let her." There was silence on the line, then a sigh. "You've always been dramatic." "No," I said. "I've always been tired." That week, I started cleaning house, literally and financially. I removed my parents' phone line from my account. The carrier asked, "Are you sure?" I said, "Very sure." Then I blocked Jenna on Venmo. She'd been sending requests with emojis for groceries, for Ava's carpool. Next, I canceled the automatic reminder that said, "Mom, check in Sunday, 8 a.m. It had been on my calendar for 6 years. The silence that followed felt strange, like I was hearing my own life for the first time. At work, my buddy Nate noticed. "You've been quiet," he said. "I'm detoxing," I told him. "From what?" "Family addiction." He raised an eyebrow. "How's that going?" "Feels expensive," I said, "but worth every cent." By Friday, Mom tried a new tactic, guilt by nostalgia. She texted an old photo of me and Jenna on bikes, me pushing her from behind. Caption, "See, you always looked out for her." I stared at it for a while, then replied, "And she's had a 30-year ride." Saturday morning, Max climbed into my bed at 7 a.m., still in dinosaur pajamas. "Are we going to see Grandma today?" "No," I said. "We're making pancakes." "With extra syrup?" "Always." He grinned. "Cool." That grin was better than any approval I'd ever begged for. By Sunday, Mom escalated again. A text. "Family meeting. Tomorrow, 4 p.m., my house. Everyone's coming." I typed back, "Not me." 5 minutes later, another ping. "If you don't come, don't expect us at Christmas." I stared at it, feeling nothing sharp, just a quiet relief. Holidays with people who treat you like a resource aren't holidays. They're shifts. That night, as Max fell asleep, I sat beside him and whispered, "I'm done letting them decide who I am." He murmured, half asleep, "You already are, Dad." I smiled. He didn't know it yet, but he just said the truest thing in my life. What I didn't know, what none of us did, was that the next week, the family meeting I skipped would turn into the loudest explosion we'd ever had. I didn't plan to go to the family meeting, but at 4:12 p.m. that Sunday, I got a flood of messages. "Mom, we're waiting." "Dad, be reasonable." "Jenna, at least have the decency to face us." Then a photo came through, a picture of their living room, chairs in a circle, tension disguised as order. Caption, "Your choice." I stared at it for a full minute, then grabbed my keys. When I walked in, the smell of lemon cleaner hit first. Mom was standing by the fireplace, Jenna on the couch, arms crossed. Dad had the remote like a referee. Mom's tone was already loaded. "We were starting to think you'd ignore your family completely." "I almost did," I said. "Guess I made the wrong choice." Jenna rolled her eyes. "You made a spectacle at Ava's party. People were talking." "I bet they were," I said. "You threw a party in my name." She leaned forward. "We thought sharing would bring us closer." "Sharing?" I said. "You took my son's birthday, my money, and my time." Mom raised her voice. "Enough. We didn't take anything. You offered that space. You said families help each other." "I said that," I replied. "Not you can steal from me." The silence that followed was sharp. Dad cleared his throat. "Mark, can't we all just move on?" "I did," I said. "You're the one still holding the rope." Mom glared. "Don't turn this into a drama." "It already was," I said. "You wrote the script. I just stopped playing the part." Her lip trembled, but not from guilt. Performance. "After everything we've done for you," I laughed. "What exactly have you done for me, Mom? Besides teach me that love has a receipt?" Jenna stood up, voice rising. "You're unbelievable. Ava cried for hours because of you." "And my son cried quietly," I said. "Big difference. You didn't hear his tears, so they didn't count." Mom slammed her hand on the counter. "We thought you'd understand." "There it is," I said. "The family motto." Dad stepped in. "You're blowing this out of proportion." "No, I'm finally seeing it in proportion." Jenna threw her arms up. You just like control. I looked her dead in the eye. Control? You used my credit card to host your kid's party. That's not control, that's theft dressed in pastel. The room went dead quiet. Mom's voice dropped low. You think money makes you better than us? No, I said. I think accountability does. She shook her head. We just wanted Ava to have her day. And you decided my son's day didn't matter. For the first time, her words cracked. You've always been so cold, Mark. I'm not cold, I said. I'm done being warm for people who burn me. Dad stood, muttering, We're done here. But Mom wasn't. She pointed a finger at me. You don't get to cut us off. We're your family. Then start acting like it, I said. She took a step closer. You'll regret this. One day you'll need us. I met her stare. You mean one day you'll need me again? For a moment, nobody moved. Then Jenna's phone buzzed. She glanced down and scoffed. You blocked me on Venmo? Wow. Yeah, I said, because I'm not your personal bank. Mom hissed, ungrateful. I smiled. Grateful people don't steal birthdays. I turned to leave. Mom's voice followed like a curse. You're choosing strangers over blood. I stopped at the door. No, I said, looking back. I'm choosing peace over chaos. She blinked, unsure what to do with a version of me she couldn't guilt trip. You can't erase us, she said weakly. I'm not erasing you, I replied. I'm just writing my own story. I left before she could answer. Outside, the sun was setting, low and red. My phone vibrated again, a new message from Dad. She's crying, come back. I typed, then maybe she's finally feeling what she taught me. When I got home, Max was building his dinosaur Lego again. Did you fix it, Dad? He asked. Not really, I said, but I fixed us. He nodded like that made perfect sense. For the first time in years, my house felt quiet. Not empty, but clean. The kind of quiet you get when the storm finally runs out of rain. The morning after that so-called family meeting, I woke up lighter. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel responsible for everyone else's happiness. But peace doesn't survive long when control freaks start losing their grip. By noon, Mom called again. I didn't answer. She texted, we need to talk face to face. Then Jenna followed up. You owe me at least a conversation. I owed her nothing. Still, when I went to pick up Max from school, my mother's car was waiting in the parking lot like a trap. She stepped out, arms crossed. Can we please stop this nonsense? Mom, this isn't nonsense, it's boundaries. Her eyes narrowed. Boundaries are for strangers. We're family. No, I said calmly. Boundaries are for people who cross lines. And you've been crossing mine since I was 10. She looked around, lowering her voice. Don't embarrass yourself. Funny, I said. That's exactly what you said at Ava's party, right before you hijacked my son's birthday. She sighed dramatically. You're still angry about that? Angry? I said. I'm done pretending that what you did was normal. Her expression hardened. You've become cruel. No, I said, I've become consistent. I opened the car door for Max and ignored her calling my name as we drove away. That should have been the end. But of course, it wasn't. 2 days later, Marissa from the venue called. Hey, Mark, just a heads up. Your mother tried to reinstate the booking using your name. She said you'd changed your mind. My jaw tightened. Did she pay anything? No, she said you'd handle it. I let out a sharp laugh. Not this time. Please cancel the entire account under my name. Already done, Marissa said. And for the record, good for you. When I hung up, something in me clicked. I'd spent years reacting. It was time to take back control. That night, I opened every joint financial tie my family had ever used. Phone plans, streaming accounts, utilities I'd paid for temporarily. One by one, I shut them down. The next morning, my phone lit up like a siren. Mom, what happened to my phone service? Dad, internet's not working. Is this your doing? Jenna, Venmo says you blocked me. What the hell? I typed one message to all three. I'm not your provider. Figure it out. 15 minutes later, Mom showed up at my office building. Security had to calm me down. She was furious. Lipstick smudged, hair perfect, voice sharp. You think this is funny? I think it's fair, I said. You cut off your own parents. I stopped paying your bills. There's a difference. She jabbed a finger at me. You're acting like money's everything. No, I said, but I finally realized it's something, and I'm tired of pretending it's not when you're the one spending mine. Her voice broke. "You're cruel. You keep confusing cruelty with accountability," I said. She left in tears, but I didn't chase her this time. That evening, Jenna called. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. Her tone was furious. "Do you realize you humiliated Mom? She's crying." "She's crying because the credit line closed," I said. "Not because she cares." "God, you're impossible," Jenna spat. "You've always had to control everything." I laughed. "Control? I spent 30 years letting you take whatever you wanted." "You sound like Dad," she said. "Maybe because I finally stopped sounding like your wallet." "You're so dramatic." "Funny," I said. "That's what you call people when they start telling the truth." Then she said something that froze me. Ava asked if Uncle Mark hates her now. I closed my eyes. "No, I don't hate her. I just hate the example you're setting for her." She went silent. Then, quietly, "You don't mean that." "I do," I said. "One day she'll learn that love without respect is just dependence." The line went dead. That night, I sat with Max on the couch watching a movie. He leaned against me and said, "You're not mad anymore, huh?" "No," I said. "I'm done being mad. Now I'm just done." A week passed before I saw Mom again. She showed up at my door unannounced, as usual. "Mark," she said, voice trembling, "I don't know who you've become." "The version of me that doesn't flinch when you say that," I said. She looked at me like she was searching for her old son, the one who'd cave, fix, and apologize. He was gone. "You used to be so generous," she whispered. "I still am," I said. "I'm just done funding other people's entitlement." She gasped like I'd cursed. "We're a family. We share. We share time," I said. "Not money, not my kid's birthday, not my peace." "Your grandmother would be ashamed," she snapped. "She'd be proud I finally stopped repeating your mistakes." Her mouth opened, but no sound came. I didn't fill the silence. I just looked her in the eye and said, "The free ride's over, Mom." When she left, I closed the door softly. No yelling, no guilt, just finality. An hour later, my phone buzzed again. The family group chat exploding. "Dad, you've gone too far." "Aunt Deb, I told you he gets like this when he's stressed." "Jenna, children first, Mark. You made Max's day about yourself." I typed one message. "Max is with me. He's happy. We had cake." "Mom, you wasted $3,900. Me. Correction, I saved $3,900 from being used against me." Then I put the phone face down, turned to Max and said, "Want pancakes for dinner?" He grinned. "With extra syrup?" "Always," I said. For the first time in my life, every dollar I spent went exactly where it belonged, into a life I actually wanted. After I ended the group chat, the apartment went still. No buzzing phone, no guilt disguised as family, just quiet. Max sat on the floor building another Lego dinosaur, blue, crooked, perfect. I watched him click the last piece into place and thought, this is what peace looks like. Small, ordinary, earned. For years, I'd mistaken exhaustion for love. I believed that giving more meant being good, that saying no meant I was selfish. But that day, walking out of that venue, shutting my mother's door, I learned the truth. Real love has boundaries. Without them, it's just control wearing a smile. The following week, I started rebuilding our world. I called the bank and set up an automatic transfer. $50 every Friday into Max's college fund. Not a huge amount, but it felt symbolic. Money moving toward the future, not into someone else's crisis. Then I opened a new spreadsheet titled Things We Can Afford Because We Don't Pay Everyone Else's Bills. Max grabbed a marker and added his own item, extra sprinkles. He grinned, proud of his contribution. And honestly, he was right. On Saturday, we had pancakes for breakfast, and again for dinner, because 7-year-olds make great rules. We went to the park with my buddy Nate and his kids. The air was warm, the sky steady. For once, I wasn't checking my phone, waiting for the next urgent family problem. When we got home, there was a letter in the mailbox. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. Inside, family share, don't be a stranger. I read it once, then put it in the drawer next to the tape measure, things I only use when needed. Later that night, I sat across from my therapist, a woman with kind eyes and no stake in my guilt. She asked, "What are you most afraid will happen if you keep these boundaries?" I said, "That they'll stop loving me." She paused. "Have they ever loved you, or just your usefulness?" I didn't answer right away, because deep down, I already knew. It's strange how freedom doesn't feel loud. It feels quiet. It's dinner with your kid and no hidden agenda. It's watching him fall asleep and realizing no one can take that peace away anymore. I stopped waiting for an apology that would never come. Instead, I gave one to myself. For every year, I let them use my silence as permission. Now, when people say, "You're so strong," I don't smile politely. I correct them. I say, "I'm not strong. I just stopped being afraid of disappointing people who were never proud of me anyway. And if that makes me cold, fine." Cold keeps the boundaries from melting. The other day, Max asked, "Do I still get to be 7 tomorrow?" I said, "Every day this year, buddy." He grinned. "Then can 7-year-olds have pancakes for dinner again?" "They can in this house," I said. He nodded solemnly. "I like this house." "Me too," I told him. "It finally feels like ours." So, if you've ever been the one who keeps giving, fixing, and forgiving just to keep the peace, let me tell you something. Peace that depends on your silence isn't peace. It's a cage, and you're allowed to leave. Have you ever had to choose between keeping your family and keeping yourself? Tell me below, because someone out there needs to know they're not alone.